Okay, great. We're about to go. Hey everyone, thank you for joining. Again, this is the session with intention to review what is supposed to be done within the previous week, as well as to take a look at the next one. So first of all, we finalized week 7. We assume that uh, the the second week of online zoo has been completed uh, and the work has been submitted to the cross-check, since the cross-check has already distributed among the students, as well as the tests for the following modules should be passed as well. Uh, yeah, so the focus of just to remind you, the focus of the week 2 of the online zoo was the desktop version of the donate page that is consists of the following elements: header, footer, as well as the form of the donation. There are like several rules applied to the input, so I hope that you took everything into account uh, in your home assignments. So for the current week, we're starting with the cross check of the week 2. Uh, what I wanted to highlight here is we asked you last time to update your RS RS app and Discord profiles, specifying your GitHub and all your contact details. That is necessary because sometimes students which work you've verified want to contact you in case if they have some questions or they do not agree with the feedback. But unfortunately, they're not able to do that since they don't know how to reach his reviewer. So one more time, would like you to ask to update your RS app platforms profiles by specifying your Discord username, as well as your Discord account by specifying the GitHub name in the following form. So your say your name, actual name, and in the parentheses, the GitHub username. So like the following. Uh, yeah. So and we also asked to uh, not to leave the cross-check reviews anonymously, just because it also brings some difficulties for reaching the reviewers for discussing the feedback. So that's caused like some sort of difficulties with discussing the feedback with alignments. So because sometimes we see that uh, the penalties are over applied to the works. Yeah, just to explain one more time, what is the purpose? What is like the actual goal of the cross check? It's not like about uh, applying as much penalties as it's possible for another student, just not giving him a chance to get a higher mark. But this is an opportunity to provide your feedback on the work and possibly to propose some action items which could be applicable for his current work to uh, improve improve his implementation. Uh, and also, like one more thing regarding the cross check. Yeah, we see that from the cross check evaluations criteria, there are lots of penalties, right? But there are some cases when the sum of the penalty uh, is greater than the maximum amount of score that could be given to the task. In case if such things happens, and if the work has been completed, so the minimum mark that could be put in this case is 1 but not 0, because 0 means that the task wasn't completed at all. So in case if you see that the task was completed but there are lots of mistakes, please put at least 1 point to the score instead of 0. for better evaluation of the amount of people, the how much uh, how much of people accommodated this home assignment. Okay. Yeah, and also one more thing. Yeah, I know that all of you are like chasing the highest score, and maybe sometimes, who knows, you maybe you're trying to lower someone else. So please don't do that. Why so? I was mentioning already that this your total score is not a key criteria for passing the course successfully. Even though we're reaching the end of the stage one, we're going to start with the stage two, where we plan to distribute you among the mentors, and you will have the interview with them. So the key criterias for going further is not the amount of the score, but amount of home assignments that you accommodated, as well as uh, the how successfully you pass the interview with your future mentor. So yeah, that's your key criteria to gain the knowledge and do as many home assignments. Well, ideally uh, to accommodate all the assignments. Yeah, but we know that sometimes there are some difficulties. Yeah, I know that. But these are the key criteria, not the total score, and you should bear in mind. Um, on the next week, apart from accommodating the cross check of the online zoo, we see that there is a DOM API test for one of the topics, as well as another set of the Code Wars. Well, actually, the same set of the Code Wars katas that should be accommodated within the current week. So this is the final week to complete these assignments. Regarding the bookshop, that's an interesting task in terms of giving you not the exact designs, just this is the intention of the requirements is not to give you the exact designs for how it will look like, but it gives you the criteria of which elements and which sections should be implemented using our familiar tool set by using the HTML plus CSS. You could get acquainted with the following task requirements, and as you see, there is like the examples of your future layout. But again, so this is not the strict requirement for keeping the layout as the following, so you're completely free to implement the designs as you wish by your preferences. But the main focus here is that your work should consist of all the items that are mentioned here. Um, and again, we'll like gather the um, the best designs that we will found after the completion of the bookshop, and five of the students with the most attractive and eye candy designs will get additional score. So I guess that's a quite interesting motivator for you to take a harder work on the look and feel. Uh, okay, so I believe,
Pavel, could you please
yeah,
back to the description? I guess we should talk about the one important thing. Please scroll up and pay attention that the layout of the catalog page should be created only through the JavaScript file. It's help you to learn how to work with JavaScript, how to create element, add to the page, and so on. These questions are popular in the interview, so you will be able to apply this knowledge and be prepared to interview. but the page with the form should be created in the classic way through the HTML file.
Okay, I believe that's the one of the most important criterias. Yeah, so we tried to add that new tool in your tool that is the JS. So previously, last time you were implementing the markup with the styles, and here, please take a look. So to bring the styles to your implementation, you could use just you could use regular CSS rules as you done it previously, but instead of creating the tags in the HTML file, you need to use the JS code except the delivery form. That is in the classical way. But yeah, thank you for bringing the attention. Okay, so I believe we're done with the news, unless Anna and Andre has something else to highlight, and could pass over to the questions.
I hope not.
Okay, so Clever's task is until 14th. Yes, it's already answered. So the deadline for the Code Wars, as I mentioned, for the following set of katas is the current week. So till the 14th of November. Uh, so let's run through the questions from the chat. They're asking, we should have an HTML boilerplate in the HTML file, right? So your HTML file is used for including all your source code to the page, which is the CSS and JavaScript. But yeah, the body is like it's empty. Okay. Should we use perfect pixel criteria described in the week 1 requirements for the week 2 evaluation? Yes, correct. All the general requirements are also applicable for the week 2. Another one. In other words, we had like 2 weeks of the online bookshop. We are given 2 weeks for these assignments, and only then it will be necessary to submit this, and then cross-checking begins. Now, so the deadline for the week 1 was the 31st of October. Then we had the cross-check for the week 1, and you started implementing the week 2 of the online Zoom. The deadline was yesterday.
Pavel, the question was related to bookshop, but related to
yeah,
bookshop,
yes,
it's
the
2 weeks assignment with submitting for cross-check only after the second week.
yeah, the same rule like for the bookshop. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's go through the people that's raised the hands. Olesya, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Um, God, so many questions. Okay, I'll start with the bookshop. So, about styles, you should describe in the CSS file, but you should add CSS classes to create a text using JavaScript. My question is, are we adding CSS classes to the form like we did normally, or are we adding them through the JS?
When you're working with the catalog page, you're working through the JavaScript. When you're working with the form, delivery form, I mean, you're working in a classic way. So you add your classes in the HTML file.
Okay, great.
You add your layout in the HTML file and so on.
Okay. Next one is the fully up to students. The authors of top 5 most interesting design according to the activist vote will receive additional 20 points. My question, which I had since got our resume, I read in the documentation for your app that there is a way, if you made a very good work that you want other students to see, you have a way to promote it. My question is, where is it? Where can I promote it?
Perhaps could you please expand on your question? So about promotion, perhaps I didn't get it.
You have I'm sorry, I don't have electricity right now. So I can show exactly where it was, but in your documentation, for the resume cross-check and so on, you had a point that if you made a work that was like so good that you want other students to see it, you can promote this work on some page, but there wasn't no link to that page where we can like make sure that other students can see that work. Where can we promote other students' work if we found it very good?
Yeah, so previously we were adding like the link to the form where you can submit it, but yeah, it seems like we haven't provided it. So can we connect later after the Q&A so that we could add all the missing links where it's the promotion is stated? Because, well, I remember that, yeah, there should be a link where you could submit the works that, to your mind, is quite good. Yeah, but
Yes.
I also didn't find the form. But yeah, thanks for noticing. Yeah, so let's connect later on, and we'll add the missing links.
Okay, thank you. Another question is that, like you said, we are close to stage 2, and in stage 2, I saw that there are questions to get ready for the interview, like preparing to interview in week 21, I guess. Do we have anything like that for us when we are entering like stage 2 for our first interview? Will we have any questions, like any questions to prepare us through this?
We don't have the fixed set of the questions for the interview, but the topics will be every topic that you passed on the stage 1, including some coding tasks.
Okay, so like all of the topics, and it can be anything, no requirements, right?
Yes, it's fully depends on the interviewer, because yeah, for the next for the next interviews, yeah, we prepared the set of possible questions, but it does not guarantee that you will get exact questions from the list. But this is like the helpful hand for you to be well prepared. So we'll have like the Core.js interview in the stage 2, and yeah, we do have the set of questions, but for your entrance interview with your future mentor consists of covering the topics from the stage 1, as well as completing some coding tasks. And for doing so, you already did assignments with the code words. But if you want to practice more to get prepared for accommodating the coding task on the interview, so still you could use code words for practicing.
I mean, yeah, so it just clicks the similar task, right? When they are completed, we can click on similar task, and they're like showing us similar tasks, and that's how we can continue practicing, right?
Yes, exactly. You could
Okay.
pick the random kata on the code wars, depending on which complexity you want to practice. Yeah, there are some sort of queues, the levels for the katas on code wars. So yeah, you could just use the random ones.
But overall, it should be like the highest one is 6 for us right now. Yeah, so in the interview, it would be like the highest category.
Oh well,
Oh God.
Well, we have no idea if the interviewer will have a coding task, how complex it will be. But yeah, mostly it's not too complex, but the intention of the coding task during every interview is to check or to cover the theoretical topics by figuring out, do you understand how it actually works? So this like not the complex, but it could be quite interesting and I don't know how to say it. Yeah, but to figure out whether you understand in terms of like the HTML and CSS, do you understand how what are the elements of block one, or in terms of JS coding, it could be like basic operations or mapping operations, everything that you covered within the stage one, it could be on your first interview. So we do not have exact set of questions, but to be prepared, you could just revise all the topics and practice your coding JS coding tasks on Code Wars.
Okay, so my question is then to that is it will we be able to use DevTools? Because that's kind of hard without it.
What do you mean? It's on the interview?
DevTools, like, yeah, yes.
No, on the interview, most likely you will use like the other tools for writing the code. And that will be shared with the interviewer. But it could be agreed with your interviewer to use this or that tools. But please get ready. That's most likely you will not be able to use it.
So no Google, no DevTools. Good luck, right?
Exactly. That's the whole point of the interview.
Okay,
And
okay.
empty page in the Word or Notepad.
Amazing, amazing. So another question is that you said previously that this whole ordeal will be based on the top students percentage. How like how are you English? How to say it? How do you decide the top percent of the students? Like what it's based on exactly?
You mean which amount of students will be invited for the interview?
Yeah. Well, you said that it will be based on the amount of top students that we will have, like by the end of stage one. So my question is, how it's decided? Like, what exactly is the amount?
We don't have exact amounts of the student. We cannot guarantee that this amount of students will be invited. It also depends on the mentors' availability and their capacities. Yeah, well, like in case of if capacity is running out, we would like propose to conduct extra interviews. But for now, I don't think that's the main focus. So even in the percent, we cannot give you even a percentage of the students, unfortunately. So
Okay.
it depends on most of the factors.
Okay. 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 I think I'm done for this week.
Yeah.
For this week. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hope we helped you with all of your questions. Okay, so what else do we have? I see in the chats everything is answered. Okay, are there any other topics to cover today?
Seems no.
Okay then. So in case if something is not answered during the call, so please reach out in the Discord. And yeah, one more thing, yeah, because well, it's quite hard to track all the messages in Discord because apart from the current Discord server, we also like have the other ones, and we have a very busy workload, and we're struggling with finding the free time for dealing with your questions. But yeah, I'd like to ask you, whenever you're asking something in the chat and you want us to pay attention to it and to answer it, please tag the names of coordinators that you would like to pay the attention. And you can include me and Andre. Because yeah, sometimes it's quite problematic to track all the messages in all chats. But if you see that some of the questions is really important, so please tag our names. So
one more thing, the issue with the submitting task, I mean, failed deadline in the scheduler is present, so don't worry. Our team are working on this bug.
yeah, great. Yeah, I see one more things in the chat. So we must use Vanilla.js for Bookshop. Yes, correct. Only we don't. You're not supposed like to use any frameworks or libraries in the current assignments. Only Vanilla.js, and as well as you are not allowed to use Bootstrap and any other frameworks. So pure HTML, CSS, and pure JavaScript. If the question is answered.
Excuse me, could we use Lodash?
Well, as far as I remember, we like it stated the technical requirements, which is interesting. But could you please remind me last
The
time?
requirements, but as Pavel mentioned before, only Vanilla.js.
I see, thank you.
Yeah, last time I remember that we allowed to use Lodash just as a complementary functions for creation layout.
You said that we can use it. You said that we can use it in Zoo, but not about Bookshop. That's the question was.
Yeah, because I remember that it was used as the complementary functions for some cases, but let's focus on Vanilla.js this time around because well you are free in creation of your own layout. So yeah, the focus is Vanilla.js without using any complementary tools. Well, I believe that will be great to state in the task requirements to eliminate all the possible questions. Okay. Okay. What else? Is the interview also assessed with score, or you can just pass it or not? As I mentioned, your score doesn't like your score at all isn't counted during the interview. So is your passed or not? That's the question is correct. Everything that's your results on the interview only depends on how well you prepared and not on the score in the table. So that's exactly what I was mentioning. Can we copy design of existing bookshop? It's not a cheat. What I mean by existing. So here, if you're talking about these screens, it's not the final design. It's a concept of yeah, it's a concept for you to get started. Can we use as CSS? Well, I'm not quite sure. But for you should also like for using any kind of preprocessors, you likely need to configure Webpack as well or some package scripts. But that's not a focus for now. So I don't think that's. Okay. I hope I answered everything.
Pavel, excuse me, one more question. For the bookshelf, like we are allowed to use like the design from existing sites, right?
Yeah, exactly.
will-
You can use any like to for inspiration. You could use any of the existing designs. That's quite okay. So did I answer your question?
But you may copy the design, but not a code of existing any bookshop.
I am pretty sure it will be hidden from us. So thank you.
Hope so.
Okay then. So I believe we covered most of the curious topics, and so I propose to wrap up the webinar and wish you good luck for the current week. And please reach out in case of any questions. See ya next time around.
Have a good week. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.